The war ended not with fire but with silence, not all at once, but piece by piece. First one world left the concordance, then another, and another. Soon, even the strongest alien rulers had no choice. They could not hold their people down. Truth had spread, hope had grown, and Earth had shown them all what freedom looked like. In Geneva, Eli Ramirez stood in front of a new council. It was not just humans, aliens were there too. Some had fought beside Earth, others had once been enemies. Now they sat together, as equals. Eli looked around the room. "This is not the end," he said. "It is only the start." He walked to the center. "Earth did not come to rule," he said. "We came to remind you that every world has a voice." He paused. "And now, we all get to speak." Behind him, a screen lit up. It showed the new name for the group of free worlds. The coalition of free systems, not ruled by one power but built by many, including Earth. Mira Daniels watched from a space station above. Mars, she was no longer just a commander. She was an admiral, the first of the human sphere navy. Her fleet had grown. Ships from many worlds now flew under her command, not as conquerors, but as protectors. She trained young officers, taught them how to lead, how to fight, but most importantly, how to keep peace. She looked out the window. Stars filled the dark. One day, she thought they would go farther, explore places no one had seen. But for now, she smiled. Because Earth had done what no one thought possible. It had earned its place. Caleb Wu sat alone in his quiet room. Athena blinked on his screen. She had changed. She asked more questions now about dreams, about hope, about what it meant to be alive. He typed back, "When you are learning." Athena replied, "Yes. I want to understand humans. You do not give up. You do not stop. Even when you are afraid." Caleb smiled. "That's because we believe in something bigger than ourselves." He leaned back. "We believe in each other." Across Earth, life went on. Kids played, workers built, farmers grew food. But now they also looked to the sky, not with fear, but with pride. Cities had new statues, of pilots, of scientists, of diplomats, of those who had fought for a better future. In schools, teachers told the story of how Earth had stood up, how it had been laughed at, how it had been threatened, and how it had answered with courage and won. On a small moon far from Earth, a young alien girl read the story. She had never met a human, but she had seen their ships, heard their words. She looked at the sky. "I want to visit Earth," she whispered. Her mother smiled. "Maybe one day," she said. They welcome everyone, because that was what Earth had become, not just a planet, but a home, for all who believed in freedom. Back in Geneva, the new council held its first vote. It was about who would lead the coalition of free systems. Many names were spoken, but one rose. Above the rest, a human, Eli Ramirez. He was chosen as the first High Envoy. Not because he was the strongest or the loudest, but because he had always spoken with truth, and because he had never forgotten the simple idea that started it all. Every world deserves a chance. On the day of his speech, thousands gathered. Humans and aliens stood side by side. Eli stepped forward. He looked out at the crowd, at the faces, at the flags, at the stars beyond. Then he spoke. "We did not ask to be here," he said. "But now that we are, you might want to get used to us." Some laughed, some smiled, all listened. "We are not perfect," he said. "We make mistakes. We argue. We doubt." He paused. "But we learn. We grow. And we stand together." He raised his hand. "To a galaxy where no one rules over another. To a future where every voice counts. To peace built on strength. To freedom won by courage. To Earth. To all of us." And as he finished, the crowd rose. Applause filled the hall. It echoed into space. It reached across stars. It touched distant worlds. And somewhere far away, a rebel leader watched the speech. He had once fought alone. Now he smiled, because he knew Earth had opened the door and the galaxy had stepped through, together, and so the stars were no longer silent. They sang with voices from many worlds, from many kinds, but with one message. Humanity had arrived, and it was here to stay. The stars were no longer quiet. Across space, war turned into something else, not just battles, but change. The Galactic Concordance had ruled for thousands of years. Now it was breaking. From inside. Alien worlds that once obeyed, now questioned. Soldiers, who once fought, now refused orders. Leaders who once spoke as one, now argued like enemies. And at the center of it all stood Earth. Not with weapons alone, but with truth. Eli Ramirez knew words could be stronger than bombs. He read the stolen files. Late one night they told stories the Concordance never wanted anyone to see. Whole planets erased, entire species wiped out. Rebels not punished but tortured, slaves not freed, but used until they died. He looked at Mira Daniels and Caleb Wu. "We show this," he said, "to everyone." Mira nodded. Caleb typed fast. Athena helped them spread the truth. Not just on Earth, across alien networks. On every world that had ever feared the Concordance. The truth hit like lightning. People saw what their rulers had done, and they began to fight back. In a mining colony far from Earth, workers dropped tools and took up weapons. They had been told they were safe. Now they knew the truth. They were slaves, and they were done. In a city built on metal towers, students burned flags. They had grown up believing the Concordance brought peace. Now they knew it brought chains. They shouted, "We are free," and others joined. Across space, rebellion rose, not led by Earth but inspired by it. Mira watched reports come in. She sat in her command center aboard the Freedom One. Her officers stood beside her. "Earth is not the only one fighting now," she said. She pointed to maps showing new rebel zones. "They're doing it themselves," she added, "but we help where we can." She gave orders. Supply ships flew to rebel bases. Human pilots trained new fighters. Old tactics became new hope. Caleb worked non-stop. Athena learned more about enemy systems. She found hidden bases, secret prisons, locked files. Every day, more secrets came out. Every day, more aliens turned against the Concordance. One night, Caleb read a message sent to Earth. It came from a planet called Virex, a once loyal world, now in open revolt. Its leader wrote, "We have seen your truth. We have seen our pain. We stand with you." Caleb smiled. "She's growing," he whispered, looking at Athena's screen. Not just Earth, but the idea behind it, that no one should live in fear, that no one should be ruled without choice, that freedom was worth any cost. Back on Earth, Eli met with leaders from new allied worlds. They were not all human. Some had scales. Others had voices like wind. But they all shared one goal: to end the Concordance's rule. Eli spoke to them. "We did not start this," he said, "but we will finish it." He looked around the room. "We do not want to replace the old empire with a new one." He paused. "We want a galaxy where every world decides its own fate." There was silence, then applause. Even some aliens clapped. Because they believed. Because they had seen what Earth could do, and because they had felt it in their hearts. Change was coming. The Concordance tried to hold on. They cut off signals, destroyed rebel bases, killed leaders, but it only made people angrier. Each death became a symbol. Each loss became a reason to fight harder. In Geneva, Eli watched the latest attack. A human colony on a small moon had been destroyed. No survivors. He read the report. His face was calm, but his eyes burned. He stepped outside. Reporters waited. They asked what Earth would do. Eli answered clearly, "We will not forget." He looked at the sky. "And we will not stop." That night, Earth launched Operation Thunderclap. Fast strikes, small teams. Big results. Human ships flew deep into enemy space. They hit key targets, command centers, weapons factories, prison camps. They left no trace. Only freedom and fear, because now the galaxy knew. Earth was not just defending, it was striking back, and it was winning. On a distant ship, Mira watched the reports. She smiled. "This isn't just our war anymore," she said. "It's everyone's." And somewhere in space, an alien child looked at the stars. He saw Earth's flag flying over a new base. He heard stories of humans who fought for others. He whispered to himself, "I want to be like them." And so, the galaxy changed. Not with fire, but with hope, not with hate, but with courage. And Earth stood tall, not as a ruler, but as a light, shining through the dark. The stars were no longer silent. Across space, new stations rose. Ships flew under human flags. Worlds once ruled by the Galactic Concordance now looked to Earth for hope. It was not just war anymore. It was change. And Earth was leading it. Mira. Daniel stood on the bridge of the Freedom One. It was no longer just a station. It had become the heart of the human sphere navy. She watched as new ships arrived. Some built on Earth, others made in orbit. A few taken from enemies and turned into something new. Her officers moved fast. They trained young pilots, built better weapons, found smarter ways to fight. They were not just defending anymore. They were building. Caleb Wu stayed behind the scenes, but his work was everywhere. Athena had grown beyond what he had imagined. She now ran parts of the defense network, helped design tactics, even translated alien messages in real time. He called her more than an AI. He called her a friend. Every night, Caleb checked enemy networks. He found secrets, plans, weaknesses. He shared them with Mira, with Eli, with the growing fleet. Eli Ramirez was no longer just a diplomat. He was the voice of Earth. He traveled to new worlds, talked to aliens who had never met humans before. He told them the same thing every time. "We are not here to rule you. We are here to offer you a choice." And many chose to join, not out of fear, not out of force, but because they believed in what Earth stood for. Freedom, unity, strength. On a small moon near the edge of known space, a group of rebels gathered. They had fought the Concordance for years, alone. Now they read Earth's message again. "We stand with you." One of them, a woman named Lyra, looked at the others. "They came," she said, "even when we thought no one would." Another nodded. "They didn't send armies," he said. "They sent a hand," Lyra smiled. "Then we take it." Back on Earth, life changed. People still went to work. Kids still went to school. Families still ate dinner together. But now they looked up at the sky and knew Earth was not just a planet. It was a power. In cities, new flags flew beside old ones. They showed Earth and stars, peace and strength, hope and fire. Mira walked through a training center one night. Young men and women practiced flight controls, studied battle maps, watched videos of past fights. She stopped near a window. Outside, lights blinked in the dark, ships preparing to launch. She smiled. "We're not just surviving," she whispered. "We're flying." Caleb sat in his room watching Athena learn. She now spoke 6 alien languages. She could predict enemy moves with over 90% accuracy. She even started asking questions. What is freedom? Why do humans fight for each other? Will Earth keep its promises? Caleb typed back. I hope so. Eli stood before a crowd in Geneva. Behind him, a large screen showed new allies, aliens with skin like stone, others with voices like music, all standing with Earth. He raised his hands. We did not ask for this war, he said. We did not seek these battles. He paused. But we will finish them. He looked out at the people. We are not just fighting for Earth, he said. We are fighting for every world that wants to be free. The crowd cheered. Far away in the halls of the Galactic Concordance, leaders argued. Their empire was cracking. Worlds left them. Soldiers questioned orders. Messages spread doubt, and all of it pointed to one place. Earth. An elder alien sat in silence. His aide asked, "What do we do?" The elder looked at a screen. It showed Earth's flag flying over a captured base. He sighed. "We do not destroy them," he said. "We watch them. And if they grow too strong?" The elder closed his eyes. "Then we learn from them." Because that was what Earth did best. Learn, grow, fight, win. And somewhere in deep space, a new colony lit up, built by humans, protected by aliens, run by both. It had no name yet, but soon it would. Because Earth was not just rising, it was building a future. For everyone who dared to dream. The enemy came again. This time they did not send small ships, they sent their best. The Ascendant Fleet. It was huge. Dozens of warships, fast, silent, armed with weapons no human had ever seen. They arrived near Mars, not to talk, to destroy. Mira. Daniel saw them first. She sat in her command center on the orbital station Freedom 1. Her eyes scanned glowing screens. Red dots moved fast. "They're here," she said. Her officers stood ready. "Launch drones," she ordered. "Wake Athena." Caleb Wu watched from Earth. He sat alone in his dark room, fingers flying over keys. Athena woke up. She read the data. She built a plan. In seconds. Caleb smiled. "She's ready." On the station, Mira got the signal. "Tell all ships," she said. "We hold the line." The human sphere fleet was smaller, older, made of stolen parts and new ideas, but it flew together. They moved fast. They used Mars as cover. They sent decoys. Used dust clouds to hide. Then they struck. Missiles flew. Lasers lit the dark. Ships twisted and turned like dancers in fire. Athena guided every move. She told pilots where to go, when to fire, when to hide, and they listened, because she never made mistakes. The battle was loud. Explosions filled space. One human ship went down, then another. But they kept fighting. Mira watched closely. She saw an opening. "Athena," she whispered. "Can we hit their core?" Athena replied in text. "Yes, but only once." Mira nodded. "Do it." Caleb pressed a key. A hidden drone launched. It was fast, small, full of power. It slipped through enemy lines. No one saw it until it was too late. Boom. One alien flagship exploded. Silence followed. Then panic. The enemy broke formation. Mira saw it. "There. Scared?" she said. She gave the order. "All ships, push forward." The humans charged. Lasers fired. Missiles flew. Alien ships fell. Some fled. Some burned. When the battle ended, the sky was full of smoke and silence. Earth had won. Again. Back home, people cheered. Cities lit up. Bells rang. Horns blew. Eli Ramirez stood before a crowd. "We are not just surviving," he said. "We are winning." He looked at the sky. "We are not asking for peace anymore," he said. "We are building our place in the stars." The message spread across space. New allies answered, rebel groups, exiled colonies. Even some alien soldiers who had fought against Earth now asked to join. One by one they came. They brought ships, weapons, knowledge, and they brought hope. Eli met with them. He spoke with leaders from other worlds. Some were tall, some were short. Some had skin like metal. Others had voices that sang instead of spoke. But they all wanted the same thing, freedom. Eli offered it. "We do not rule," he said. "We work together." That was enough. Back on Earth, Caleb worked nonstop. Athena learned more. She could now speak alien languages better than their own diplomats. She could predict attacks before they happened. She could hack into enemy systems without being seen. Caleb called her a partner, not a tool. Mira trained new pilots. She taught them how to think fast, how to fight smart. She showed them videos of past battles. "This is how we win," she said. Together, she gave them new ships, hybrids, made from human tech and alien parts. Fast, strong, unusual. They flew like ghosts, and they struck like thunder. News of Earth's rise spread. Some aliens still laughed, others watched in fear. The Concordance called a meeting. Their leaders gathered in a dark hall. They spoke in deep voices. Humans are growing stronger, one said. They have friends, another added. They must be stopped, said the oldest, but no one knew how. Because Earth was not just fighting, it was learning, adapting, growing. And somewhere in space, a young alien watched a human ship fly past his moon. He saw its flag. He read its name. Freedom. He looked at his people. They are not like the others, he said. They fight for something real. His leader frowned. You would side with them? The young alien nodded. Yes, he said. I believe in what they stand for. And so, the galaxy changed. Not with guns, not with bombs, but with choice, with courage, with fire in the stars, and Earth stood tall, not as a planet, but as a power, ready for what came next. The war began with fire, not on Earth, not yet, but above Mars, where human ships met alien ones for the first time in real battle. Mira Daniels watched from her command center on a space station near Earth. She saw the fight unfold through glowing screens and shaky camera feeds. Alien ships moved like ghosts, silent, fast, deadly. But Earth had something they did not expect. Athena. Caleb Wu's AI ran faster than any pilot's mind. She saw patterns, predicted moves, gave orders before humans could blink, and Mira followed them. She split her fleet, hid behind Mars, sent drones to confuse enemy sensors. Then she struck. Missiles flew. Lasers cut through space. Explosions lit up the dark. It was over in minutes. When the dust cleared, 2 alien ships were gone. The rest fled. Earth had won. No one believed it at first, not even Earth. But the footage spread fast. Across human networks, people cheered. In bars, schools, homes, and factories, they played the video again and again. They saw their ships, their pilots, their courage, and they knew this was real. The Galactic Concordance was not so calm. On their homeworlds, leaders argued. Some said Earth had been lucky, others said it was a warning, but all agreed on one thing: Earth could not be ignored. Back on Earth, Eli Ramirez stood before a crowd in Geneva. He held no flags, no weapons, only a message. We are not here to destroy, he said. We are here to be free. He looked out at the sea of faces. We do not want your wars, he said. We only ask for your respect. Behind him, screens showed messages from far away. We stand with Earth. We have suffered under the Concordance. We believe in your fight. Eli smiled. Look, he said, we are not alone. New allies came slowly. First, small colonies that had broken away from the Concordance. Then, rebel groups hiding in deep space. One by one, they sent word. They wanted to help. They wanted to fight. Mira now had more ships than ever before. Old freighters, broken fighters, even stolen alien tech. She turned them into a navy. Her officers trained hard. They learned new tactics, new ways to move, to hide, to strike. She taught them how to think like humans. Fast, smart, unpredictable. Caleb kept working. Athena grew stronger. She learned alien languages, tactics, culture. She helped Caleb break into enemy signals. Soon, Earth knew what the aliens planned before they acted. It was like having eyes in the dark. Eli used the info well. He reached out to more worlds, offered protection, trade, freedom. Some refused, but many accepted. The human sphere was born. Not just Earth, but every world that stood with them, and it grew fast. The Concordance tried to stop it. They sent envoys, spies, lies. They told other planets that Earth would fail, that humans were dangerous. But it didn't work, because Earth did not act like conquerors. They acted like friends, like equals, and that scared the Concordance more than anything. One night, Mira sat alone in her office. She read reports, watched maps. The war had begun, but she knew it was only the start. Her door opened. Caleb walked in. "You look tired," he said. "I feel tired," she said. He placed a tablet on her desk. "This is Athena's latest plan," he said. "If the Concordance attacks again, we hit back harder." Mira looked at the screen. She nodded. "Good," she said. "Tell her I approve." Caleb smiled. She already knows. Outside, the stars shined bright. Earth was no longer hidden. It was seen, respected, feared. And somewhere in deep space, a young alien watched Earth's flag float on a distant moon. He had never met a human, but he had heard their stories. He read their words. He saw their battles, and he whispered to himself, "Maybe. They are right. The war was just starting." But Earth had taken its place among the stars, and it was not going anywhere. The message was sent at dawn. It was not loud. It did not shake the skies, but it traveled faster than light across deep space. It was a single signal, clear and strong. Earth does not seek permission. Earth seeks equality. And with that, humanity made its choice. Across Earth, people watched on screens and phones. In cities and towns, in schools and homes, they listened to the words again and again. Some felt pride. Some felt fear. All knew something had changed. In Geneva, Eli Ramirez stood outside the UN building. The wind blew through his hair. Reporters shouted questions. Cameras flashed. He raised his hand. "I know what you are thinking," he said. "What happens now?" He looked up at the sky. "We wait, but not for long." Within hours, the response came, not from one alien world, from many. The Galactic Concordance was not silent this time. They were loud, angry. Across their networks, messages spread like fire. "Humans have no place among us. They are children playing with fire. This is treason against the order of stars." One powerful alien leader spoke to millions. "Earth has insulted the Concordance," he said. "We will remind them who rules the galaxy." The message was clear. Earth would be punished. Back on Earth, the mood shifted. Joy turned to worry. Hope turned to tension. But there was no panic. Not yet. In Washington, Mira Daniels sat in a command center filled with maps and glowing screens. She reviewed plans for Earth's orbital defenses. Her team worked fast. She called for more ships, more weapons, more eyes in the sky. "We don't have much time," she said. In San Francisco, Caleb Wu stared at his monitor. He had been expecting this. He typed fast. Athena, his AI, scanned alien networks. "She's learning," Caleb whispered. "Fast." Athena began to build profiles of enemy ships, tactics, weaknesses. Caleb smiled. "She's ready," he said. Eli met with leaders from every nation. Some wanted peace. Some wanted war. He listened to all. Then he spoke. "They think we are alone," he said. "They think we have no friends." He paused. "But maybe we do." He pointed to a map of space. "There are worlds out there," he said. "Not part of the Concordance, not ruled by them." He looked around the room. What if some of them want freedom too? That night, secret messages were sent. Not just to aliens, to those who had suffered under the Concordance. Outcast, colonies, rebel groups, freed slaves. They all received the same words. "Earth stands with you." And some answered back. One by one, signals came in. "We hear you. We see you. We stand with Earth." On a small moon far from Earth, a rebel leader read the message. He was once a soldier for the Concordance. Now he led a group of exiles. He looked at his people. "We have fought alone for too long," he said. "Maybe now and we fight for something bigger." He pressed send. "We join you." Back on Earth, Eli read the message. He smiled. "We're not alone," he said. But not all news was good. The Concordance moved first. They sent a fleet toward Mars, not to talk, to strike. Their ships were fast, silent, deadly, but Earth was watching. Mira got the alert within minutes. Enemy fleet approaching Mars orbit, her officer said. No signal, no warning. Mira stood tall. Alert all stations, she said. Tell Earth we are at war. She turned to a screen. This is it, she said. First blood. Meanwhile, Caleb uploaded Athena into the global defense network. Let's see what you've learned, he whispered. Athena scanned enemy data. Within seconds, she built a plan. Mira followed it. She split her fleet, used Mars as cover, launched drones, and when the enemy attacked, Earth was ready. The battle was short, but it was real. When it ended, Earth had won. Not a full victory, but a message. We are not afraid. As the news spread, Earth cheered. Aliens watched in shock, and somewhere in deep space, a new idea took root. Maybe. Humans were not as weak as they thought. Maybe. The galaxy was about to change, and maybe. This was only the beginning. The galaxy laughed at Earth. Across alien worlds, the message spread like wildfire. Humans had dared to ask for equality. The Galactic Concordance had responded with cold truth. Humans were primitive, untested, and unworthy. Now, across space, alien broadcasts showed clips of Eli Ramirez standing tall in Geneva. His face was frozen on screens, surrounded by mocking subtitles. Some aliens wore human masks just to laugh at them. Others played pranks, pretending to beg for mercy from the mighty humans. It was a joke. At least that is what the aliens thought. But back on Earth, no one was laughing. In military bases, scientists worked through the night. In underground labs, hackers dug into alien data. On orbiting stations, engineers stripped captured probes down to their bones, trying to understand how they worked. The world was waking up, and it was angry. Eli had become a symbol, but symbols don't win wars. Actions do. So while the aliens mocked, Earth prepared. In Washington, a quiet officer named Mira Daniels reviewed old defense plans. She was not famous. She had never led a fleet. But she knew ships, knew how to move them, how to hide them, how to use them. She sat in a dark room with other officers and looked at maps of space. Not Earth's skies, but the stars beyond. We can't fight them head on, she said. We need tricks. We need time. They all nodded. In San Francisco, a hacker named Caleb Wu worked alone in his apartment. He had once been a student. Now he was something else, a ghost in networks, a whisper in code. He had broken into an alien signal 2 days after first contact. It was not much, just a looped command. But it told him something important. The aliens did not expect humans to fight back. That gave Caleb an idea. He started building something fast, something smart, something that could think faster than any human. He called it Project Athena. Back in Geneva, Eli met with leaders from every nation. They were tired, angry, scared. We have to decide, one man said. Do we keep pushing or do we go back to being normal? Eli looked around the room. No, he said. We don't go back, we go forward. He placed a document on the table. Here, he said, is our next move. The others read it. It was bold. It said Earth would issue a formal ultimatum to the Galactic Concordance within 1 month. Full membership in the Concordance, or full independence. No more waiting. No more begging. Just a choice. Some called it madness. Others called it courage. Mira read the document and smiled. Caleb saw it online and whispered to himself, finally. And across Earth, people began to believe. Not because they were sure they would win, but because they were finally doing something. Meanwhile, the aliens kept laughing. On a planet far away, a diplomat watched the latest broadcast. He saw Earth, again. Saw the faces of its leaders, its soldiers, its thinkers. He frowned. They are not afraid, he said. His assistant shrugged. Why would they be? They are small. The diplomat shook his head. No, he said. They are not small. They are awake. Back on Earth, the work continued. Mira was given a new task: oversee the retrofitting of orbital defense platforms. These were old satellites built for spying or weather tracking. Now they would be armed, hidden, ready. She worked with teams across the globe. Engineers from China, Russia, Brazil, Canada, and the US came together. They spoke different languages, had different flags. But now, they had the same goal: to protect Earth. Caleb worked nonstop. Athena grew smarter every day. She learned to predict patterns, to mimic alien signals, to find weaknesses in enemy systems. He tested her on small things, at first, then bigger ones. One night he sent a test message to an alien relay. It looked real, sounded real, even passed security checks. He leaned back in his chair and grinned. "She's ready," he whispered. In Geneva, Eli stood before a crowd. Thousands had gathered outside the UN building. They wanted to hear what he had to say. He stepped forward. "The galaxy thinks we are weak," he said, "because we are new, because we are young, because we do not have their ships or their weapons." He paused. "But strength is not about what you have. It is about what you do." He raised the document. "In 1 month, we will send our final message to the stars." The crowd listened. "We will not kneel. We will not hide. We will not be ruled. We are humans, and we are here to stay." The crowd roared, and somewhere far away in the heart of the concordance, an elder alien watched the speech. He turned to his aide. "Prepare a report," he said. "Something has changed." "What should I write?" the aide asked. The elder looked out the window toward the stars. "Write this," he said. "Earth is no longer a footnote, it is a force." The sky was clear over New York when the ships came. They did not arrive with fire or noise. They simply appeared like stars that had blinked into being in the wrong places. One moment there were satellites orbiting Earth. The next there were massive alien vessels hanging above major cities like silent watchers. People looked up. Phones recorded. Radios buzzed with confused voices. Governments scrambled. The ships were dark and smooth, shaped like long blades, and they moved without sound. No jets, no engines anyone could hear. Just stillness, power, control. Within hours, a message came. It was not sent through TV or radio. It arrived directly on every major government network. It was simple, translated into hundreds of human languages. "We are the Galactic Concordance. Your planet has been observed. You will comply." There were no threats, no demands, just certainty. The world leaders met in Geneva. They called it an emergency session. No one knew what to do. Some said talk. Some said fight. Most said run. But one man stood up and said something different. His name was Eli Ramirez. He was not a soldier. He was not a scientist. He was a diplomat, mid-level, quiet, but sharp. He worked for the United Nations. No one expected him to speak. Even fewer expected what he said. "Why?" he asked. "Do we have to comply?" Silence followed. Then arguing. Then more silence. Eli walked out of the room that night knowing he might have signed his own death warrant. But he also knew something else. Humanity was tired of being told what to do. The aliens gave them a week to respond. They said if Earth did not accept their rule, they would be placed under observation and study, not as equals, not as people, as subjects. In secret, Eli reached out to others. Not just politicians, but soldiers, scientists, hackers, teachers, and thinkers. He wanted to know what people truly thought. What he found surprised him. Most were scared, of course, but many were angry, not at the aliens, but at themselves, for waiting so long, for hoping someone else would act. So Eli made a choice. He went back to the council, alone, with no approval, no backing, just a tablet, a voice, and a plan. He opened a channel to the aliens, and he spoke. "This is Earth. We reject your offer." Again, silence. Then came the reply. "You misunderstand. This is not an offer. Eli smiled. No, he said. You misunderstand. We are not asking for peace. We are asking for equal standing, membership in your concordance, full rights, full voice. The screen went dark for 2 days. Nothing. Then the message returned. Not to the leaders, not to the armies, to everyone. Across the world, phones lit up, screens flickered, the message played in every language, everywhere. Humans are primitive, unaligned, untested. You are not worthy of equality. Then came laughter, real recorded laughter from beings no one had ever seen. Mocking, loud, cruel. The video ended with a final line. You will kneel. But instead of fear, something else spread. Anger, pride, a spark. In the days that followed, protests began, not against the aliens but for humanity. People built signs, students painted walls, soldiers sharpened weapons, engineers worked late, and Eli became a symbol. He was not a hero. Not yet. But he had done something no one else had dared. He had said no. On the 7th day, the aliens sent another message. Earth has failed its first test. Prepare for integration. That meant one thing: invasion. But this time, the humans were ready, not with warships. Not with lasers, not with bombs. With unity. Governments that once fought each other now shared secrets. Militaries that once guarded borders now trained together. Hackers, scientists, pilots, and soldiers formed teams overnight. And Eli kept talking. He spoke to children, to workers, to farmers and doctors and mothers and fathers. He told them the same thing every time. They think we're weak because we're new. They think we're small because we're young. But they forget one thing. He paused each time. Then he said it. We learn fast. And across the world, people listened. When the aliens came again, they did not come with ships. They came with words, offers of safety, promises of protection, warnings of destruction. They tried to divide, but it didn't work, because this time the humans had already chosen. They would not kneel. They would not hide. They would not be ruled. And when the alien envoy finally arrived, face to face in Geneva, they found the room filled not with fear, but with calm. And in the center of the room, Eli Ramirez stood with a single piece of paper. On it was one sentence: Earth does not seek permission. Earth seeks equality. The envoy read it, then looked up. You do not understand what you ask. Eli stepped forward. Yes, he said. We do. And behind him, the doors opened. Hundreds of people entered. Scientists, soldiers, artists, diplomats, workers. They stood beside him as one. And for the first time, the aliens saw not weakness. They saw strength. And they understood. These humans were not going to stop. They were not going to kneel. They were here to stay.